About Military Law Citations and the Census. March 16, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. They regularly hide the cheese and write different orders on different years, so be sure to use the year cited. Same thing with Army Regs and even Title 50 citations. One year will be written for land warfare and the general population, and the next year written for international purposes, and so on. For example, 50 USC 7 C and E, which is our exemption, only shows up in the 2012 version of the code. All these regulations work like a ratchet screwdriver. We get grandfathered in, and then they move on and deal with the actual military issues in subsequent years. That is why when dealing with military law and regs you must memorize the important parts that pertain to you, including the year issued. 50 USC 7 C and E of 2012. R271-1161-1 Army Pamphlet 1956 and as updated, the Law of Peace. You will note that the Pentagon is now on lockdown. The Pentagon is funded and directed by the Pope's municipal United States government, which is now being liquidated as part of the bankruptcy of the United States, Inc. This 90-day shutdown is required to settle the bankruptcy. They had planned to have both major government corporations in bankruptcy at the same time, but that didn't work out for the banks. As a result, nationalist army forces are in control. Everyone sit tight and quiet. Be good to each other, help your neighbors if you can, and have a little faith. Our army is still our army, not part of the UN and not an agency. When you see the guys in green, think land forces, and remember who was left in charge under the Lieber Code, Geneva Conventions, the Grand Army of the Republic, which we ordered out of the mothballs 5 years ago. You are seeing the Grand Army of the Republic in the field for the first time in 150 years. If that doesn't make your spine tingle, nothing will. The likelihood of seeing UN troops on American soil under the current scenario is nil, so the black and white multinational symbols won't be necessary. Please bear in mind that the actual government of this country is not under any declaration of national emergency. Mr. Trump was speaking as President of the United States of America and availing himself of funding and various empowerments as Commander-in-Chief, but that does not pertain to our civilian population. Likewise, although military personnel operating as U.S. citizens may be required to do various things as a result of their contractual agreements, including lockdowns and drills and curfews and vaccinations and involuntary quarantines, the people of this country are not under those obligations. Compliance or non-compliance with any or all parts of Mr. Trump's edicts for the military are voluntary and individual, on a case-by-case and issue-by-issue basis. We strongly feel that his advisement to stay calm and stay home to the extent possible should be heeded. We are at peace and our army is protecting us, so all is as it should be. Your basic movements should not be impeded. Grocery stores, drug stores, and other necessary vendors will stay open. The mail service will continue. The availability of gas and oil and propane should be good throughout the states. Electrical service should not be restricted and in many areas will probably not be subject to shutoffs due to non-payment. Other measures such as a moratorium on home mortgages and other issues are being considered. We have the technology to deliver a knockout punch to SARS viruses, including the CV, and it can be delivered worldwide, so be assured that that will be deployed as expeditiously as possible, not as a vaccine. Our team in Alaska is doing a delivery service so that elderly members of the community get their groceries and medications delivered to their doors. Having one person do the shopping for 4 or 5 others helps limit the exposure for everyone. Likewise, forming baby-sitting pools so that the shoppers can do their work without dragging their kids along to the grocery store helps everyone. We are getting lots of questions about the census, which, as usual, is obscenely invasive and designed for profit via data mining. Americans are required to give their name and the number of people in their household. Nothing more or less. If you feel like answering other basic questions, such as your age or occupation, that is up to you. Congress has the responsibility to enumerate the population every 10 years, but that is an extremely limited mandate and does not mean that they can ask what brand of toothpaste you use. Remember that you are not any variety of U.S. citizen, and are a non-resident and alien with respect to the federal government, unless you are an actual federal employee or dependent thereof. Get started filling out and recording the paperwork based on Anna's article number 928 at www.theamericanstatesassembly.net/correct-your-status. The link is in the video description box. Thank you. Please consider making a small donation to help support Anna and the Living Law Firm by visiting theamericanstatesassembly.net. Scroll to the bottom and click on the Donate Now button. Thank you. If a donation is not possible, please create topic-specific playlists and share this important information with your social network. Thank you. If you enjoy having Anna's latest articles made into videos, please consider making a purchase from Ed's website sacredintuitiveelements.com. Thank you.